Hi-oh, beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Critscast 2. We are here with some Nations Cup action. It is round 3. It is Group A. It's going to be Belgium versus Scotland, currently 3rd and 4th place in Group A of the 7th Nations Cup. Here I'm joined with DuMmTm on the microphone, Core on production.
Should be a funny one here. Italy ran away with 2nd place out of this group, it seems. Someone's got to get 3rd. Someone's got to get the last slot in playoffs in this group.
Of course, it has been a bit of a challenging group for the two of these teams. It's Steel Week. It's a funny map. We got two funny teams here. We are going to be kicking it off now.
So yeah, across the roster here, some experienced players. Guess in pure theory this should favor Belgium. Who knows if that's how it works out though. We'll see, I guess, by the end of tonight who comes out on top. Going into map number 1, it's Steel. Obviously always played to at most 3 rounds back to back here. If it comes down to that, let's see if we'll get that first. If someone can pick this up in just 2.
Yeah, I'm no stranger to best of 3s on Steel. I love to see a best of 3. Lots of pit deaths. You've got to maximise those numbers. So a nice quick A cap there from Scotland. Belgium not sort of opting to leave Adjay there, trying to get any intel. They're just playing nice safe, nice and reserved. Just waiting to see what Scotland's next move are going to be. Whether they're going to opt for an AE or whether they want to sort of push the envelope of this B point here. But we'll have to see as it unfolds in the coming seconds.
At the very least, they're putting some pressure towards E. If they fully commit, is a different question here. And if they're not already at Nectar, I don't think they're going to go there at the end of the day here, but we'll see. Maybe they're just careful about it. Clearly still putting some pressure towards the door here, but they see the snipers there, need to stay forward and deal with that at some point here. Jazz with the sniper rifle takes down the sniper counterpart. Gun put up on point as well. The option to play point is there. Highlander will take his chances here. The gun obviously all the way back to Connector, making it difficult, but some spam by Bees tries to keep that thing down as well. At the very least, keeps it with the NG busy and needing it to be repaired, but still doesn't allow anyone to play point just yet, so that's where the rotation comes in, and they're all suddenly way back on B already.
Yeah, really quick rotate out of Scotland there. Belgium weren't as quite as far forward as they would have hoped to have been, but the Uber really does not favour them. Highlander and Jazz both going down. Sacrilege on that upper area, just mowing people down, gets Cactus and Kaga there, just Gabe, Knoll and Flush. The sole survivors for Scotland there. A bit of a fail push. The rotation looks so good. Belgium were really committed in BC. But it just did not come good for them there, so a bit of a rethink from the Scottish side, trying to sort of penetrate this Belgian defence on B.
Yeah, always a nice late teleport by Isaac to get back on the high ground, just be behind them and get that position going for the pulse over here. Just having a heavy behind you while you're trying to fight up front still as well. It's just too much to handle here for the Scots, it seems. Will be kept down from any good position just yet. Gun back on second as well here on B, and to keep them down with denied by dropping as well. Quick bomb with the battalions. And even people on the other side of the wall have the protection if they need it.
Oh, he gives Gabe as well.
But just standing still, power not reflecting anything. Takes them out as well here. Just running against the wall of pain right now.
He just waddles straight downstairs and just pulls 3 rockets into the medic. They knew he was there. He killed Web seconds before. Looks like it's all sort of slipping out of their hands. It's going to slow them down even more so. Giving Belgium a full Ubercharge advantage now. Still got a real stronghold on this B point, losing their flank as well. Have the Scottish side here. Whip again, just trying to tease his way into this upper area. We know how powerful the upper area is. They have eliminated the teleporter exit, which should make things a little bit easier, but they're still getting a fair old drove of resistance to the Belgian side.
Another sniper comes in, Jazz at least has been hitting some stuff here, but with this many people on the other side still including another sniper, there needs to be more than just that right now. Out of just the sniper alone. Striking to just peek the corner here right now. The Wiethoofd doesn't well no spy play for them anymore. Dropping with another battalions ready as well to just make any damage coming their way. He's just much more irrelevant. Kaga takes the bait even then, still goes into deep. Will go down here. Heavy Fenrir trying to take the high ground, but just too weak to do it in the end. Pass all the spam. Scout in, Highlander just walks in, gets the sniper pick.
He comes all the way through E. That's really funny.
But you really want the entry here. Sniper pick is not bad, of course, but like the gun is like probably the biggest problem right now.
Yeah, certainly so, especially with sort of how good a job DuMmTm is doing in locking off this upper area. Sort of Scotland's applying enough pressure that they can't rebuild a teleporter there, but they're certainly making things as awkward as possible for the Scots, just trying to desperately scrabble their way up there. Another ban out of DuMmTm. He's just churning them out like there's no tomorrow, and again he's coming with the bomb, just trying to deny all that space again.
That Seaba's coming out, this will finally force the flank back a little bit. but it's just going to be an exchange for now. The gun still standing for this long right now. They moved the owner up really late, but it won't stand there for long. Easily takes that ping down before it's ever really up. Already 3 down on Scotland, and while Belgium is giving up a tiny bit of position here, they're wisely backing off to keep themselves alive, where Scotland will just keep leading numbers a little bit. Do get the pyro kill here late, which has let some easy damage come through in the end. In fact, next Pipe actually takes down the heavy here. 1 by 1, it's looking better here. Mind you, spawns for them looking obviously a lot better than for Red, so they just get some more kills here. They just have a huge opening, but it's just so scrambled 1 by 1. People peeking in here now. The DuMmTm all the way in deep of the pyro already died, and just so much damage coming their way. Nice arrow there as well. It's so little, but it might not be too late for it.
Yeah, they are finally taking a little bit of space, and Belgium are sort of respecting it just a little bit. Health not too good from the Scottish side, but Tob and Easy up on that point. Yet another banner is popped. Cactus so weak around that corner as well. Fenrir in position as well. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a drive fight. Gabe Knoll just pulls up the overcharge. Looks like we will see a trade here. 4 players down on the side of Belgium. The trade does come out. It's going to have to be a back out here from Belgium. Zinrise trying to do all that he can. The remaining overcharge here. Aoshi completely caught out, stuck in the mud. It's just going to be a clean flush out here, just trying to shut down those doors into BC Connector and stop Belgium from having any sort of retort here.
Alrighty, that should be doing it for B. This is not a good time, unfortunately, but at least it's getting there. I guess you can at least take this as a practice opportunity for the rest of the round. Get something on the board here, see what you can do off of this, but it needs to go a lot quicker from here if they want to have not a bad time at the very least, because this won't be a good time already.
Yeah, that was...
Alright, it looks like we might need a quick refresher on the technical part here. Should be a quick restart here needed. Other than that, we should be probably good to go right after for the rest of the map here. And Scotland wants to make it quick. Alrighty, sorry for the technical issues here. It happens sometimes. If you're in the YouTube VOD, you're probably wondering where the last few seconds went here. Do not worry about it. We'll just jump right back into the game here. Scotland and Belgium, we left them at B, and didn't take them too long to get E as well right after that. But at the end of the day, after this sketchy of them, B 721 is, I mean, not terrible maybe, but far from great. They just threw themselves immediately at E as much as they could right after the recap here, and they make the most of the 5-minute whatever time it was at the end on B, but 721 is very doable for Belgium.
Certainly so. It was a really solid recovery out of Scotland, though. It was looking pretty dire. To be honest, at times I thought it would be a hard hold on B, and then that would be the end of the game there. But no, Belgium sort of didn't respect them enough when they had that E cap pressure down, and just didn't rotate in time. Lost a few numbers, and then sort of the constant spawners come out of Scotland were just enough to push it over the line. But now we do see Belgium on the offense. They've got to put up against a 7-minute 21-second time. And DuMmTm says very, very doable. They just need to, try and eliminate the threat of this B point. I can imagine we'll see an alphabet push out of them, but the only way to tell will be the time we're about to see unfold as the round time ticks down.
Let's see what comes of it here. Belgium now in blue, pushing like we mentioned, have to beat this time, 721. It is to beat here for them. Quick to A as always, not much resistance here. It's much better to hold a B traditionally. That is in fact exactly what Scotland will be aiming to do, but they need to do not just as good a job as Belgium just did, but a better one. And they're already down 1 here. Scout goes down early. Not the biggest loss here just yet, as long as the main hold is still holding strong here. Zach gets past the spam onto the telly. Barely saw, will die for it, but this telly down, as we mentioned earlier. Really nice. Zach himself did some good work in the past here last round, so shutting off that option for the opponent is always really good.
However, the lack of pressure does mean that Flush can just jump straight back up there and rebuild the gun. The Heavy's up there already, so it looks like Belgium is sort of tempting once again sort of the A, but nowhere near the extent Scotland did. B is going to have to back up. They've just sent their flank in there, so quite a tentative one out of Belgium by the looks of things, but we will have to see how things go. They've got Jazz in the Bet connector, and that is just about it for now.
And see, Scotland won't have to work that out for them here once the trap rings, and as you can see, they're on a move for that already. Not exactly subtle, everyone saw them fall back a little bit, but I mean, any bit of positional advantage might help you a little bit. They're so slow on it, double.
They are.
Remember how
Sacrilege
fast
is the
Scotland
fastest
was.
player, yeah. And they're just completely there, ready to return. Scotland got a nice early sort of sight on them. They pop straight in this lower area. The gun does absorb a big old chunk of that Uber. 3 players down from the Belgian side. The counter Uber is coming out easy, getting chased down hard and fast. Aoshi just presses W for 1 second too long, gets picked off by the M1 of Kagger on the Scottish side as well here. It's just a bit of clean-up, enough time for Scotland to sort of reconcile, get their defences back up, but it looks like that they're not sort of looking to tempt it. They're all being pretty passive in this Beck area now.
Yeah, very surprising out of Belgium here. We've seen them be maybe not oppressive on the whole, but just like strong on the defense for the most part here, especially on beat itself, but very, very lacking here right now. Do come in all together at least once they're going, they're all doing it together here. Soldier in the back, so much damage, but not a kill. Gabe will escape into the corner here, just about live for now. Puts them very much into this corner though, can't stay forward if they want to fight back, because they would eat all the spam here right now. They know very well they're stuck between the rock and the hard place, even with the soldier down. So we will have to back off here a little bit and just give up a lot of position on this point right now. Gabe just does not quite have it. They have advantage and it might matter in the end. If Spy won't get there either. Will they attempt to pop in into B again? No, they won't. And everyone falls for the trap. There's a gun already in connector. They can't go anywhere.
The gun does get picked off, but the damage is already done. Some real indecision out of Scotland there. They get forced on just one player. Cactus manages to get sacked down, but it's just going to have to be a back out there. Jazz so committed as well, but it looks like Scotland sort of backed out of B. Then when Belgium took all the space, Scotland came straight back here without any Uber or anything. And then it all sort of crumbled, just penned in the corner, and Belgium have done a real number on them there. They Uber straight out into this C point now, managing to pick up just one frag for their efforts, but of course just locking out that all-important C point. The bridges will extend across into that E point, and 4 minutes left on the clock. It could be quite comfortable for Belgium here if they sort of keep this momentum piling forward.
Yeah, this is the luxury of like a bigger time like this, like a 7 minute plus. You can have an average time AB, maybe C as well, and just even think about capping D as well as an option here to just get better position, get better spawn times and all that jazz, and just go from there. They have a lot of wiggle room now to get this round here. After all, it doesn't even take close to a minute even to get this point capped up here, especially once you have multiple people on the point here. However, that takes a good position to do that. So far, they get some nice kills here. That one is always good. Still have to get past the gun. The fire already on full V for that one here, but it will survive the sap attempt. And Sinray will not. Goes down to Fit. Fit death number 2. Both times Pyros. Ironically enough. Never mind. Sack. Well, that's technically Pyros will say. Henry gets the credit for Sack going down as well.
Yeah, that was a really, really good sack out of Belgium. They bombed Rock King up into that area, completely flushed out that NG nest. 3 players still up from Scotland, one of them going down, and the Uber comes out to sweep up the rest. Number of players on point from Belgium, of course we know it's going to be about 45 seconds to cap with 3 players, I believe, on this E. So they're just looking to take it down, but there's a bit of disrespect coming up perhaps. They've got the players, but they're just not on this E point.
Yeah, it's still fairly wide open right now. They're trying to get some capping going here. Do abandon Aoshi for a little bit. Goes down, walking just too late to get the kill here, but it's still open right now. Spawns are just so bad for Scotland right now. They're just getting more and more cap here. Even if this is not it yet, it is a very threatening position from here on out. And they have to get past this many people on the point right now. 2 people standing down, even getting there in the first place. Beaver gets popped out, but has to get on the cap very desperately. This is a heavy train to run in. Fenrir gets stuck in the corner. Can still shoot, but cannot block the cap. Popped up, knocked down. Farah will do it. And there you go. Fenrir goes down with the ship here. Scotland loses first round. Belgium will take it home first round, going their way.
Belgium take that one pretty decisively there. Sort of the reason the time was so short from the Scotland end, of course, was from a sort of really poor decision for them to hard commit onto C. On Belgium's initial defense. So I'm interested to see what happened in sort of the second map in this series.
You don't know how quick this is going to go this time if they want to go more alphabet here, so might see some switch out of Belgium here to just play a little bit more aggressive now that they are the ones to set the time, that you need something threatening for your opponents, even if it's been going well so far here, just to keep the pressure up and make it all the easier for your own defense.
Yeah, I'm always a big supporter of just getting really nice solid alphabet point pushes, and not really sort of risking A, just using it to bait out, just using it to pressure, and just put up a nice solid time and trying to minimize the risk as well, because that's what this is all about really. It's risk management, and just trying to sort of tempt, see what you can get away with, and just sort of push the limits of the enemy team. So again, just going to be a pretty standard setup out of Scotland, committing everyone onto B. Interestingly, last time on the Belgium offense, they sent a couple players into upper on B and sort of delayed their AE bait out. I'm intrigued to see if they go for that again, because although it was good thinking, it didn't achieve an awful lot, and now Scotland on the defense should be anticipating that.
You know which conspiracy theory I just crossed my mind here?
Is it the one?
Kind of. However, have you noticed that both the former and current head admin of ETF2L are Belgians?
Okay.
And which country
Okay.
got some of their best players banned in recent memory?
Okay.
Curious.
I'm not going to comment for both mine and your safety, DuMmTm. The ETF2L sort of machine is much bigger than you and I.
What I think they're gonna do, ban you? I don't play this game.
Yes, oh, they opted to send a few more players there, but as we say, was anticipated by Scotland. Sweep up 3 of the Belgian players as they stack on that A point. Of course, the quick spawn timers, no real risk, nothing gained, nothing lost. They just know that sort of an AE bait out is a little less likely at this stage.
Alright, let's see what comes of it here. What is gonna be Belgium's first move on this round? Did have a decent push once it got going, but it took quite a while last round to actually get to be here. Let's see. Do want to tally down as always. Sinroyce want to muscle past the spam, past the traps. Once again, barely live, and desperately needs a sandwich attack. Will do exactly that. Get past the traps once again. Almost would have been faster to just die here for the fire, but whatever the case, they get out just fine for now. Spy not so lucky here. That's a bad one to have lost in the backlines here to play off. For push into the B point once they're ready, but one step at a time here. They got the Teddy at least out of the way. No heavy on high ground. They can play this position now whichever way they like here, but still 9 more players to go through to get anywhere close to the B cap.
Yeah, both teams have the Uber charge. Belgium got a real good stronghold on this upper area now. Dropkin goes in for the bomb, manages to get flush as well. That's a huge opening for them. No Uber's exchanged just yet, but the gun going down and their heavy getting picked off as well as a huge opening. Uber is out for Scotland. Aoshi pops just to try and save as many players as possible. Kago and Gabe are still trapped in there. Easy chasing Gabe down. Of course, former teammates last season does manage to get him as well. Sack managing to get Deox, or does he just slip away with the invisibility? Looks like that will be the case, and that is going to be a B cap coming out of Belgium there. That was pretty decisive there. As soon as that sack came out of Dropking, it was sort of over to Scotland.
Alright, they did call with a spy wall, so Sinroyce will clean it up at the end just about as they already head into the connector area. Medics are so weak, gets put off fire. He's still at very low HP, don't need to be careful for some spam. Benry taken care of pretty quickly there, can't get any more. Will barely live. Dropking might have heard the sandwich here, but must know the heavy healthy now. That's maybe just a bit too much for the soldier.
Yes,
Gets betrayed. Heard it just too late. Any second sooner he might have gotten in there before the sandwich prepared all the HP for the heavy main there, but will not be enough here. Will get them still either way to see for Belgium here pretty quickly in what about just less than 3 minutes. Still really good pace here overall, and with the Uber advantage from here as well, this is a big threat towards either D or E, whichever way they want to do this right now. They have a good chance with this Uber advantage.
It looks like they want to go Death Corridor, and Whip has it trapped.
But is he watching it? And the answer is no.
Oh no.
No one
Taking it
is.
nice and easy.
Oh, the
no.
debate is now that they shoot the first weapon, and he gets the second one, but he does it too early. Sinroyce didn't even die to it. Oh, I actually like that idea. Just getting it off the fact that they're clearing the first one and just have the second one right after. Will not come to fruition here. Whip's massive brain, just not big enough, yeah, turns out. And in fact, everyone's just D now, and what are they going to do about it? Fight with the Uber? Fight with the Conch at least, but that's not going to stand up against his invincibility here, and Aoshi tries to head in there quickly. Gabe will return the favor here. He loses the pyro so early though. They can just fall back into having everyone on E ready with a gun even as well on the high ground. And just fall back into that thing. Do this a lot. Jet actually just from spawn staring down, missing them from such close range here. And then one by one just getting cleaned up fully.
Yeah, that was a really good return from Scotland. I thought Belgium were sort of making a really smart move by being the ones to initiate and try and pressure them back while they capped in the background. But Scotland with the repush, they were all so healthy, and they did a really good job of sweeping up those Belgian players. So they definitely do need that at this point in the game with the sort of rapid time Belgium put up on the first 3 points here.
Yeah, that's gonna get things back in working order here, somewhere closer to the 5-minute mark already with this, especially since blue team, the most likely anyway, will not be able to make a successful push without an Uber charge coming out at some point, which will take another like half a minute at this point right now. So this is also some good amount of time right now on the side of Scotland, but they need even more than that. If their own time was 7:20, they need as much time as they can get right now here, and with that they need some good position first. Right now they're just walking awkwardly over through E. Not a great spot to be, and this looks like they're about the ones to push the E point here themselves on their own push, but no, they're the ones trying to hold this from here.
Yeah, another huge bomb from DuMmTm, just completely wiping out the E sentry nest, completely independently off of the back of a little bit of pressure from Adjay as well. But again, putting Belgium in a really good sort of position to make something happen here. It's equal Ubers here. They're sort of meandering their way through this E point, and Deox sneaks up behind, but gets spotted just in time. It's going to be another Uber trade here in the sort of white room corridor there.
Let's see who comes out on top of teams trying to take it. But position
Another pyro.
blast into the pit. Fenrir once again gets the credit for it, but we all know who was the real murderer here. Kaga blasts him into the pit, but they just can't get through the door anyway. They get them out of the equation here pretty quickly, but they can still shoot them from back there, and they do that for the most part here. So does Jazz though. Hammering down the damage on the sniper class, gets some more damage going. Highlander on the pit as well, tries desperately to live, but doesn't have the jump ready to do it. And just slowly but surely falls down as well. And one by one, just like that, they're going down. And this might be doing it. Will be coming down to some spawns here still, but once again, like last round, even with the spawns, they'll have to muscle pass so much right now. Easy staying forward, heavy in the high ground as well.
That's a huge reflect! 2 pit deaths, it could have been 5 there. So
is
many
this what
people,
Xenon
so
2
tight.
is?
Oh my god.
This is the might of Xenon 2. I've seen the trailer on ETF2L. This is what's going to be happening next year. Get ready to 2 or whatever that they're going.
That was phenomenal. But again, Scotland just falling victim to these really chunky spawn waves. 24 seconds for Whip Cactus there is painful to see, and you really need to sort of have a cohesive push together. If you're going one at a time, you're destined for failure here, particularly against all these Belgian players just locking absolutely everything off. Just Kaga left alive, he can't save the day again. And sort of a very respectable time out of Belgium. It could have been better, it could have been much worse as well, but 6 minutes 24 there for Scotland to return.
This is not that bad. It's gotta feel doable for Scotland if they just get a good V. This is really all it takes. They just were messing around so long to get a good push going after what looked like a really good initial rotation. If they just can get a better start to that initial play, this might very well be doable. It's gonna still be difficult though. Belgium has been looking stronger this whole just a few minutes ago on the first round, so they know exactly what they want to do. They just need to be a little bit more vigilant on if Belgium or if Scotland is changing up anything in return.
Certainly so. I think one thing that a lot of teams neglect is Scotland, of course, they had a full disadvantage on the B point last time around. And I think the longest spawn wave you get is like 12 seconds on the offense here. I think they could have quite comfortably just gone for a nice couple sacks into that B and just try and disassemble Belgium without risking their Uber charge. But they just didn't do that. They just sort of sat around, and that left their medic in a very vulnerable position. And I think that's what went wrong last time. But we'll have to see how things unfold this time. We have got Scotland on the offense, of course. Belgium winning the first map. Scotland need to sort of take this in order to take it to a golden cap. The winner of this game will get playoffs. So we'll have to see a nice, big, chunky stack on that A point out of Scotland. They've got the level 3 sentry gun set up there as well, so maybe they've got an AE push in their sights, or at least they want to apply as much pressure to the flank as possible.
I mean, realistically, the E-play looked pretty decent once it got going by Scotland last round, but it was really awkward because Belgium looked really scattered, just not knowing how to really like reapproach E once they like went C in the first place, and that's not a position they will be in on the B hole right now because it's so much more quickly doable to just rotate connect a little bit, the position they just didn't have that last round. And as long as they have this, going full E is going to be difficult here, so if they want to do that, they got to get some pressure going that way. Without a scout, they're not going to get any camp time to help out with that.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of players coming back for Belgium, the same as last time, so Scotland might be tempting themselves another rapid push, but Fenrir and Kaga going down is certainly not going to help too much unless they want to try and meet them as they spawn in that drop-down area. Which is certainly very doable, but Gabe is still very much committed into this white room area. I'd say a bit of lack of decision out of Scotland here. They're not quite sure what they want to do with this push. The cap pressure has only just started, but Highlander taking a loss of heat.
Well, they want to go with E, it seems here, despite losing some numbers, despite not having any position connector. They want to believe in this, but from the corner back here at white room entrance, it's just not a good spot to be in right now. You're still subject to the sniper. No one's dealing with the gun right now. That might have been repositioned here now to actually be back point, but the moment it is, she's going to have a fun time dealing with this. It doesn't auto-fire quite to the back of the point, but a little bit of wrangling and then that job gets done pretty quick, and if that isn't enough, the sniper's uncontested in connector as well.
Okay.
The spy just has free reign once they're trying to take care of this from all directions. It's just not looking good for Scotland right now.
Adjay has been sitting in that spawn door the entire time, just pistol spamming. This entire push, Scotland should really have anticipated that. He's literally just been teasing them the whole time. There's a bit of foreshadowing there, and eventually does pick off Gabe. So that's going to slow them down. Belgium a full Ubercharge advantage now. 4 minutes on the clock and only A captured. All of the E capture time has fully diminished now, and the players out of Scotland look like they want to take B now. Sacrilege and the gun going down nice and quickly here, as does Kagger from the Scottish side. It looks like they're just trying to sort of big ball Belgium and try and force a supercharge out. The Fenrir going down is not going to assist that.
I'm also scared that people just peeking in one by one, Whip aimlessly chasing a spy that he can't even see anymore because Eddie wasn't visible. It's visible now again, and at a bad time. Highlander there's backup, Spy comes in as well, but can't get close to the medic or the NG for that matter to get the stab going. Highlander melted by the pyro. Well, the sniper's just raining down hellfire. He clean up by easy off the snipe while Kagger down. Just not going well right now. They need a cohesive push. They need something from the flank maybe to come in as well. And Deox was in position, but where was the rest of the team of that? Just nowhere to be found. Taking this time, gun being put forward as well if they want to bait people into that. But at the moment they bait people forward, it is with the Uber most likely, and they're actually starting to take damage now. Will probably pop this Uber a lot later than Gabe is right now.
Yeah, the upper area was completely open the entire time for Scotland, and they just didn't take it, and it meant that there was nobody really to support the Ubercharge. Everyone was just sort of sat on the low ground behind them all, and they just didn't convert anything off of it. Belgium just towering over them on this high ground here. Deox just not able to get away with anything, no pressure whatsoever. Belgium just sort of crawling all over them. 2 minutes 40 seconds. It's going to be in a sort of unwinnable position in terms of an alphabet push, and Scotland's just going to have to swallow it and go for an E-push if they want any chance at not just winning this map, but of course getting into the playoffs.
Still just drip feeding players into B, Scout Demoman already down, rest of them trying to desperately get through the main door here, but with the Pyro and the Demoman staring them down, it's going to be difficult. There's a snipe at least to help that issue a little bit, but even with a demo pick as good as that is, it's going to be difficult. Walking with free reign from behind, comes in, throws down the damage, gets Gabe again, just has so much time to walk in that deep before the gun's even up and just pick his target instead of having to go for the first one available, and can in fact just go for the medic there. They have to force at the very least, but how much is this going to help right now? Time is of the essence here. They have 2 minutes. Like he said, at this point, E might just be the only option they have.
Yeah, and if it wasn't before, it certainly is now, but it looks like Scotland treating it as a little bit of a DM, so there's no coordination, and they're just sort of getting melted as they just sort of make their way into the B point individually.
Alright, people here doing a great job for Belgium. High numbers all around. You can just see already AK-7, well, I could just count it as the medic that's feeling. Everyone else though, just being alive forever right now on Belgium and just pumping in more and more damage, more and more kills into this one single doorway that people so desperately try to muscle their way past and into the B point, but just not getting close, dropping with yet another one, just having this side area here all to himself. Doesn't even have to be the heavier popper. The soldier apparently just has all the freedom up there and just can hammer down the damage. And where is Scotland? They have a minute left at this point. The writing is on the wall, I think, to even get the E-push going. But hey, they want to give it one more honest shot here. Just run in all together and no holds barred.
I think Kagger got tricked up there. But yeah, Belgium, they have set up in this bet connector. They know that the only winnable position for Scotland is they get on this sort of E point here. But with Highlander down, nobody else has the guts to hop on it from Scotland. A nice reflect from Sigmais onto B's. Just styling now. They're just racking up these huge kill streaks on the Belgian side now. Uber is out of Scotland, and they're just going to get reflected straight in the pit. Yes, sirree. Cactus has been launched onto the platform below, which, although he is alive, is not a very useful position to be in, as Gabe also falls victim to the pit, so things are slipping out of the hands.
Just jump straight back up into the connector door and just nukes Ayoshi. It's a funny one to round out the game with. It's not going to change much, but at the end of the day, isn't having fun all that really counts. At least for Scotland it has to be. However, for Belgium, there's 8 happy Belgians on the server moving on to playoffs, except for Top, who doesn't want to play Highlander, but is here anyway.
He's made an effort. Yeah, pretty triumphant victory there for Belgium. I'd say pretty comfortable, but definitely going to have to sort of iron out those mistakes when they come against the big wigs in the playoff stages that they will now, of course, progress to. Scotland, it is the end of the road for them, but still a very admirable performance. A lot of good individual plays, and we saw at the end just so many of their players just completely racking up the frags against the Scottish players and making it look easy. Should we have a look at the logs, or do you think seem to be quite reflected in the game state.
The squad did
Yeah.
try. They did put in an honest effort. I'll give them that. They didn't just figure, well, it's over, like, instantly after they lost the first one as well. They tried.
Yeah,
It
a
was
couple
decent
individuals.
times.
Yeah, there's a couple of individuals that had really huge games. But yeah, there's not too much to pick apart there. It was just very telling of the game state, but a very admirable performance out of Scotland there. They made the game entertaining enough. You can check out our Twitter, twitter.com/critscast. We've got a Discord server as well. All of these VODs are going to be on YouTube. You can catch them here as well. Critscast1, drop a sub down there. You can access all of the VODs nice and early.
Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime. Here we go. We got a professional. We've got a Patreon and, of course, the well-coveted Critscast merchandise. So thank you very much for watching. It has been me with DuMmTm, core on production, being a trooper as always. Thank you very much for watching. We'll cast over to Critscast1 now to get some more Nations Cup action.
Hi-oh, Beaver! Away!